Hello to you rum lovers. My name's James PR and welcome to my first day on my rum tasting journey. I decided to start tasting rum about 8 months ago, specifically focusing on craft rums from around the UK. And the more I tasted, the more I started tasting a lot more differences than I expected. So I decided to take myself to rum school. And by that I mean listen to some podcasts, watch some YouTube videos, and read books from the experts. Now, hopefully this is going to be too boring. I'm just a normal guy who likes rum and I just want to learn more. So when I go back to tasting British rums, I can at least understand what I'm tasting. So to do that, I'm going back to basics and explore how rums from different regions can taste so different. Step one of this, get 2 amazing rums. Got Chaormans Reserve's Original, which hails from St. Lucia, and Pussers Gunpowder Proof Rum from Guyana. I'm going to be tasting these side by side and see what the differences are. This is not a rum review. This is me learning about regional rums so I understand more about the process. From what I'm learning, rum is incredibly diverse, and where it is made has a major impact on how it tastes. That's because, just like wine in regions of France and Australia, rum's also influenced by its region. There could be different ingredients, different production methods, and even when it comes to the aging process, that can be completely different. In St. Lucia, when they make Chaormans Reserve, they use a blending process which uses column-stilled rums and pot-stilled rums to make their rums. Where in Guyana, where Pussers sources their rum from, they famously use wooden pot stills, which are like super rare, to make their rums. Now, I'm not going to get bogged down on that process because I don't fully understand all of that myself. All we need to focus on is it's 2 rums from 2 different regions made in 2 completely different ways. And we're going to see how that reflects on the taste. Again, not a review, not if it's good, not if it's bad, but what is different. So let's start with Chaormans Reserve Original. This is a blend of pot and column stilled rums, and it's aged in American oak barrels. So let's open up for the first time. Apparently the first sniff is always the best sniff. I get that. I'm going to just let this sit just for a little tiny bit. Had an initial smell from the bottle, but I'm going to start smelling from here. Obviously being made from sugarcane, it does smell very sweet, but I am smelling caramel. This is like entry-level Chaormans Reserve. Like a lot of rums, I'm definitely getting like dried fruit, that kind of Christmas cake smell. I find that in a lot of British rums, so maybe this is sort of style many kind of use. Yeah, and definitely that caramel, toffee sort of smell. I can't sit here smelling it all day, so let's give it a taste. So the tip of my tongue definitely got the sweetness of that kind of caramel toffee flavour. And without sounding too pretentious, even that tiny sip just powered to the back of my throat and my mouth. It's quite a smooth rum with my tongue still buzzing from that kind of caramel flavour and the dried fruits really kind of hitting the back of my throat. But let's try the second sip. So for me, it really does focus on those kind of dried fruits, you know, that Christmas cake feeling. There is something else I'm getting right here, something very pleasant. I can't identify that flavour. I have to let that sit with me. I've got it. It's wood. It's definitely got that kind of woody element to it, I assume from the way it was aged. Have you ever been out in summer where it like rains on wood chippings in a park or something like that? And there's that kind of strong smell. Now, it doesn't have that strong smell in this rum. It kind of like gets to the back of your throat. It's not unpleasant, but in this rum, it really, really tastes quite nice, yeah. Very good. I could be doing videos about much worse. Let's move on to Pussers rum. One thing that's going to be obviously different is this one's 40% and this one's 54.5% ABV. That smells delicious. So a completely different type of rum. So this is based on a rum blend from what British sailors used to have in their rations. This has been sitting for a couple of minutes. So straight away, I'd say like a bit more plummy, porty maybe in smell. And that fruit, like a sweet, really sweet red wine, or as I said, a port. Almost a bit coffee-ish. Nearly like on the cusp of licorice, but not quite there. And after the strong, plummy, porty smell, it's just something else that kind of lingers. Not quite sure what that is right now. Maybe like a treacle, like what molasses looks like. Let's give it a taste. Wow, that's really got a kick. That initial kick has kind of stopped me from really processing anything that it tastes like. It does have a very earthy, kind of woody flavour. That's something that wasn't there initially. As it settles, I can definitely taste that. And even after that tiny first sip, it lingers like in a nice way. It kind of cools, not like heat, but you can just feel the flavours kind of cooling down, but I just can't really see what those flavours are. That's why I'm on this journey. Maybe because I'm not used to drinking something 54.5%. I don't really drink Navy Proof rum. It's hard to get past that powerful kick to really settle in on some of those flavours. This is a journey. I'm doing this to really learn about my palate, develop my palate, and really settle on those flavours and be able to identify them. But after that initial kind of kick of rum, Navy strength rum, it settles and it does taste like earthy. Like it does taste like my garden. If I was going to eat my garden and it was dry, and that sounds weird, but that's what it tastes like. I'm kind of definitely getting that kind of earthy tones. I don't think I'm quite there with identifying flavours in this sort of rum. Chaormans Reserve, more similar to what I've drank before. They're two completely different rums from two completely different regions. Chaormans Reserve really settled in on those kind of oak barrels and that dried fruit, as well as that kind of toffee caramel. I got the flavours out a bit more. It's something that I'm more accustomed to drinking. This was an extremely nice rum, but maybe a bit too much for me at the moment when it comes to tasting and trying to identify those flavours a bit more. A lot more earthy. Maybe that is from that old wooden pot still. I do feel like I can taste, now I've thought about it more, those elements of how it is made. And going forward already on day one of doing this, I will think more about how it's made and the flavours, not just the flavours, because that's what's going to make these rums so unique. And it makes this whole journey a lot more exciting. If you're starting a rum tasting journey like me, or just interested in rum like I am, I think this is a great way how to start your journey. Let me know if you've tried any of these rums or you've been on a journey similar to mine. Give me any tips you want on how I should be conducting myself. And let me know if you've tried any of these and there's any sort of flavours that I've missed, so I'll look out for them next time. Thank you for joining me. Please give us a little like or subscribe to the channel, or both. And I'll see you next time on this journey.